So then guys, today what I want to show you is how to transfer all of your apps and all of your data over to a brand new MacBook in this 2023 guide. So if you have things like Photoshop, or you have like the Office suite with Word, Outlook, Excel, or let's say you have Final Cut Pro or Logic Pro, any kind of apps and all of your documents and photos and videos to go along with it, and you want to transfer it to a new Mac, this is the video for you. And I'm going to be transferring everything over from my 2015 MacBook Pro that I have right here over to my brand new, just put this down, MacBook Air, and this is the M2 model, and it's that lovely midnight blue or midnight color that they have brought out. And basically what I'm going to do for you today, I'm going to break down this video into two parts. I'm going to show you how to move everything over using the migration assistant that's built into Macs, or I'm going to show you how to basically transfer everything over if you just want to do it by a backup. The migration tool I would highly recommend to use if you've got access to both MacBooks like I have here, and if you are basically trading in your MacBook to get your new MacBook in return, then I would definitely use the sort of backup method. Or I'm also going to show you what involves Time Machine, what is also built into the MacBook or the macOS software, and this is completely free to do so. So then, without further ado, I'm going to take it over to my main desk with my two MacBooks, and I'm going to show you how to do the migration assistant first of all. So I would start with your brand new MacBook. So I've got the MacBook Air M2 here ready, and this is what it looks like when you first open up the screen. You might get a bit of a voiceover first of all, but just ignore that. But we're going to start with this computer first, or this Mac first, before we start looking at our old machine. I'm just going to click continue here because this is my country. Accessibility, if you need to set this up, do so at this stage. I don't really need any accessibility help, so I'm just going to click not now for me. After this, what you want to do is you want to put in your Wi-Fi password. So I'm just going to put mine in here quickly. And just let that just settle in for the MacBook to recognize. We have data and privacy and next of all, these are just basically terms, condition, bits and pieces. So I'm just going to click continue. And there we have it. We have the migration assistant up right away. So what we want to do, we want to leave it on this top option here from a Mac or Time Machine or Startup Disk. And I'm going to leave it here and I'm going to switch over to the other Mac. So I've got my 2015 MacBook Pro here, and what you want to do, you want to sign into it, get to your main sort of desktop like we have right here, and what you want to do is go to the application launchpad if you have this still, and then what you want to do is go to the other folder, and it should have some apps inside it, click on this, and then the migration assistant is there, and you want to click on that. However, what I will say is that if you don't have that kind of folder or anything like that, you don't have the launch pad, there is another way you can do this. And that is what you can do is you can go up to the search at the very top, right up here. So let me just do that for you. And then what we want to start typing in is migration, and it should automatically detect it, as you can see right here. And so you can click on it this way instead if you don't want to do the launch pad. So very similar, we've got the migration assistant window coming up. So it's going to tell us that if we're going to use this, it's going to log us out. So I'm going to click continue. So what's going to start to happen? Oh, I've got to put my password in. So I'm just going to put in my quick code here, just simple 1234, because this is a demo just for you. That isn't really my password. But what's going to happen is everything's going to close down on my desktop. So make sure everything is saved, obviously, when you're doing this. And then what's going to happen is the migration assistant's going to start, as you can see here. So what it says here is that do you want to transfer information to this Mac, or do you want to transfer it to another? What's the bottom option? I'm going to click on that, click continue. And then we're going to leave this run discovering for other Macs, or make our Mac here discoverable, more like, to be honest. So I'm just going to bring the other MacBook on show here. So there we have it. We have the two MacBooks next to each other, and you can see it can detect the 15-inch one, the MacBook Air here. It's showing it here as Matt's MacBook Pro, or MTT's MacBook Pro. So I'm just going to click on that here. And then afterwards, you can see it's highlighted. We want to go down on the mouse down to continue. So I'm just going to click on this, and this is where it will start the proper handshaking. It's saying that it's going to have the same code. If the codes match, it basically means that they're handshaking together. On that, we want to click continue on the old Mac. And there we go, it's starting to transfer the data over to the new one, or try to work out of what information needs to be transferred over to the new MacBook Air. So just leave this for a minute or two while it's just working out everything. And you can just go ahead and make yourself a quick drink or something like this. And after, the new Mac will show what applications and documents and everything can be transferred from the old Mac. So I'm going to select everything and leave all the apps, all the documents, all my profile, all my settings. I want everything to come over. So you can see here how big they are as well. They're quite large, quite a few gig. So some of yours might be smaller or bigger depending on how much you've got to move over. And we're just going to click continue now. And what's going to happen is everything is going to start moving over from your old Mac to your new Mac using your Wi-Fi. It doesn't use the internet, just uses your local Wi-Fi. And again, depending on how much data and how many apps you've got to move over, this might be quite quick or it might take a while. And the estimation time might come up for a while. I'm just going to look at my connection here and it's doing okay. It's just done a quick sample rate on the file there. But I'm just going to leave this be now for a little while everything transfers over. So then folks, while that transfer is completing right now, I thought I just wanted to tell you that at this time of year, IT folks like me like to just basically put up their feet and also have a relaxing time, just like you guys, around the holiday season. And thanks to Pulseway, probably the only thing I need to worry about is the turkey inside the oven. So if you didn't know already, Pulseway is a very cool all-in-one IT management tool that can help you monitor and manage pretty much any system, whether this is your MacBook Pro or your MacBook Air like I'm showing you today, your favorite Linux server or your Windows work machine. Pulseway can take care of it all. Pulseway has the ability to tell you if a system is down or, for example, there's a security breach, for example, all built into their software. You'll have out-of-the-box commands to take actions, kill processes, reset user passwords, and remote into any of your machines. And do you want to know what the coolest part about all of this? You can do this via a desktop app on, say, your MacBook, or you can also do it on a mobile device, just like a brand new iPhone that I have right here to look after all of your devices. So that means you can sit back and relax over this holiday season because Pulseway has you covered. And best of all guys, you could try out Pulseway for 2 weeks by using the trial by going to this web link that I'm displaying right now, and also that link will also be in my description too. But with that guy, let's go back to the MacBooks and see how that transfer is going. Well, it does seem like everything has migrated over successfully, so I'm just going to close this down on my old Mac. Obviously the daytime lights kicked in, that's why it's a bit darker there, and everything. I can log back in again, what I'm just going to do, but I'm also just going to put my MacBook Pro to one side. So just focusing back on the MacBook Air, I'm going to click done now on the migration, and as you can see, it's the exact same screen I had on my 15-inch MacBook Pro. I'm going to click continue, but we just got to finish off the last few bits of setup on this MacBook Air now, just to complete, and it might take a minute or two for everything just to kick in, so just don't worry if it freezes for a second. There we go, it's starting to log in for me. And it's asking me to sign in with my Apple ID, what I'm just going to quickly do. And after this, if you have two-way authentication, you're just going to have to authenticate it on another machine. So I'm just going to authenticate myself on another machine, put my code in. Just a random code, so this code won't work for you. Just make sure you get the right code from your other devices if you've got two-way authentication set up. So I'm just going to leave this run for a second. There we go, it's setting up my iCloud account. And with that completing, we just want to turn on file fault disk encryption. If you want to encrypt your MacBook, I highly recommend it, so I'm going to click continue. And then after that, we just want to set up Touch ID. So I'm just going to set up a quick finger here, my main finger, just do my Touch ID. Again, I'd recommend doing this to keep your Mac secure, especially if it's got the ability to do this. And most MacBooks from about 2016 and 2018 onwards have this ability. So yeah, click continue on that and leave this run for a second while it just puts that in and remembers it. And there we have it, we're on the desktop. Everything is loaded, I've got a reminder popping up there to put that away, but this is exactly the same screen as what I've got on the 2015 MacBook Pro. And just to demo that, I've got my 15 MacBook Pro, this is what's on my desktop. On my desktop, it's the same files here. You can see my PDFs and everything. I put those away there. And then also got my sort of screenshots that I've taken. They're exactly the same. So everything has migrated over successfully, all my apps and everything. And that's how you do it via Migration as System. I'm just going to show you my Launchpad here. Everything's exactly the same. Swing it over, all my same apps. It swings over on the 15-inch. There we go. So everything has moved over successfully, and that's how you use Migration Assistant in 2023. So as you can see, that was really easy to do. I've moved everything over to my brand new MacBook Air that I have right here. All the applications, everything is fully working, so that's really good to hear. But imagine if you didn't actually have your old MacBook or your new MacBook all at the same time. Well, there is another method, and that involves using Time Machine, what is also built into macOS. And let me show you how to basically transfer all your data using Time Machine if basically you had to give in one of your MacBooks and in exchange get your new MacBook in return. So let's go back to the desk and let me show you how to do this method instead. So this time we want to start on the old MacBook. So you're like, here I've got my old MacBook Pro, and what you also need is you do need an external hard drive like I've got here, and it needs to be the same size or larger than the hard drive that's inside your MacBook. And the one I have here is a USB 3.0 hard drive, and that works with this MacBook Pro, but you will need an adapter if you've got a newer one with USB-C, and I'll show that a little bit later on into this video. So with this hard drive now, what I want to do is I want to connect it up to my actual MacBook Pro. So I'm just going to put this down here. I'm just going to get the cable. Just get it over here. Where's my port? It's on the side. Let me just click that in if I can. There we go. And then you can see the hard drive is now recognized fully, so everything is fine there. But what we want to do then next of all is you want to go up to the spotlight here, the search, type in disk utility, open that up, and then we'll have this menu open here. Now what I want to do is change it and make sure it says show all devices. We definitely want this to be shown, not show only volume, show all devices. Make sure that one is ticked. And then we want to go to the external drive, the drive you just clicked in, and then we want to erase it. So what I want to do is I want to call this, I don't know, let's say Mac backup. That's a good idea. And what we want to do is we want to make sure it's macOS journaled, or extended journal more like, macOS extended journal. Select that one, and then after that we want to click erase. And what we're going to do is we're just going to leave this just erase for a second or two. It might take a minute or so just to completely erase your hard drive, depending on what type of hard drive you've got. You can use an SSD or you can use a spinny drive. It's up to you. It doesn't matter as long as it just backs up. It doesn't matter what type of hard drive you are using. So just make sure this is fully backed up. And there we go. And as you can see at the top corner here, it says Time Machine can now be used to back up this Mac. Do you want to use this hard drive, what you've got? So you can either click on this, but I'm not, so I'm going to show you the other method if you didn't have that. So I'm just going to wipe that and type in Time Machine instead. Open that up, click on that, and then now you can see it says we can set up Time Machine. So I'm just going to click on that. It's going to open up my settings, and what we can do is we can add up a backup disk. So I'm going to select the Mac backup disk that we just got. So I'm going to click Setup. And what we want to do is, this is encryption. We can encrypt the drive if you want to do that, so you can put your password in if you want to encrypt it, but I'm not going to encrypt my backup just for the sake of this, but it's up to you. Everything else is fine, so I'm going to click Done. We're just going to prepare the drive now to be a backup. So this is what's going to happen now. This might take a minute or so to complete. So we'll just leave that finish, almost done. There we go. And as you can see here at the bottom, it's saying that the next backup is going to start. It's in around about 50 seconds or so. So we're just going to leave this run and we're going to let that back up. So I'm just going to leave this. And there we go. It is backing up now. It's preparing to back up and everything. I've just sped this along. And as you can see, 0.1, 0.6, it's taking its time to back up. And this is an SSD drive. So you have a spinny drive, it might be a little bit longer. And also depending on the type of USB port, you've got the speed of that as well. It depends on how long it will take. And also a big factor is how much data you got to transfer over. So I'm going to leave this run. I think in total, this has taken me about 7-8 minutes to do a full backup. But that's just the size of my data was on this hard drive. So with this almost completing, it might just jump to the end here. There we go. It's jumped to the end and it's ready to do its next backup in a minute. So with that all completed, what we can now do is close this all down. So that's what I'm going to do right here. I'm just going to go to my X here and we're just going to get rid of this as well. And what we can do is we have to basically click on the MacBook Air, right click on it, and then click Eject Mac Backup. So we want to eject it correctly, we don't want to lose our data. And then after that, that basically means we can pull out the hard drive. So I'm just going to pull out the USB port here. And there we go, the hard drive is now ready to be used on the new MacBook Air. So I'm going to switch over to the MacBook Air now. So again, this is how the MacBook Air looks and if it's fresh out the box. We want to click continue. You can do accessibility if you want to do this or not. So I'm going to click not now because I don't need any accessibility, but set it up for you if you do need so. And then obviously again, you just need to put your Wi-Fi password in. So I'm just going to type that in. And then leave that run with all of that completed. Your data and privacy and everything like that needs to just be, it's up to you just to click continue. And then we've got the migration assistant here. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that top button is selected at the top and click continue. And now at this point, what we want to do is we want to grab our hard drive again. And like I said, this hard drive here does have a USB 3.0 port, a standard USB port. So let me just bring that in and show you guys. So you can see here at the top that I've got that, the USB sort of cable at the very top here. And what I have actually got this time, just plug it in, I've actually got an adapter to translate this over to a USB-C. So I'm just going to plug that in. You can buy these on Amazon, they're very, very cheap. USB to USB 3.0 to USB-C. And as you can see, the Mac backup has been detected. You just select that this time, click continue, and it might take a second to recognize it also. And then obviously it's seen the hard drive. Just going to select it again here, the backup that I've got, my most latest one. And it should be your top one, if that's your most latest backup. So it's just going to prepare everything and just leave this run for a second or two. And there we go. It's now working out what applications and everything I have to move over for me. So yeah, that's everything there. It's just calculating the last bit of system and network. And then after that, if you just want to move everything over, you just got to basically go down to the very bottom and just click continue. Now what we want to do is set up a new password. You can have your existing password on your old Mac, but it's up to you. Set up a password and then after that, click set password. And there we go, password is now set. I'm going to click continue. And there we go, everything is starting to transfer over to this new Mac here from the hard drive. I'll just show you here, the hard drive is plugged in by cable and everything for you there. There's the hard drive and also there is the light, where is it? There we go, there's the light on. Sorry, it's a bit blurry there, camera's not focusing. But just leave this run now to move all your data over to your new MacBook Air or your new Mac that you've got. And there we go, my MacBook Air is just restarting here. Gonna get back to the main page, just transferring the last bit of data coming over. Won't take long now. There we go, migration complete. So what we can now do is just move your mouse down to the done button at the bottom here, like that. And then you can log in with that password that you've just set up. And then just after that, what might just happen is you'll have to sign into your iCloud. Just put your password in for this. And if you do have two-way authentication, then obviously you're just going to have to put that in. It will come up on another machine, like an iPhone, iPad, or another Mac. Put in the two-way authentication code in. The code is going to be always different, random numbers. I'm just going to put that in here. And there we go. It's just setting up the iCloud account. And with that completed, it's just going to ask for the password we had on our other laptops. Obviously, it's the same hard drive. It's getting all the data from that. So my MacBook Pro code was just 1234 because it's just a demo. So I'm just going to leave this run. And let's just let that complete just a second. Shouldn't take too long. And there we go. We've got the 5-volt disk encryption. So I just want to leave those switched on, so I want everything encrypted. We just got to set up Touch ID, so just using your finger. I'm just going to set up one finger for now. There we go, nice and easy, very similar to what you do on an iPhone, some iPads as well, very simple. And there we go, click continue, and it will just put that into the system. This might take a second or two. And there we go, there's the desktop loaded. For some strange reason, Chrome's trying to load, so I'm just going to force quit that. Maybe I had Chrome open when I did the backup. But there we go, it's just verifying everything open. Everything is now done. It's asking me that, telling me that I haven't done a backup yet. Obviously, it's a brand new machine, and it says I've got a backup there. So I'm just going to click details on that.
And oh, there we go. I'm going to claim those existing backups because obviously I want to continue on everything. So I'm just going to click on that here. And there we go. It's just going to connect to my hard drive and continue backing up. We'll try to do another backup even though, you know, it is all the same data. So we'll just leave that run if we want to. But once it's all completed, we can just eject the Mac backup afterwards and everything is completed. So I brought the 15-inch MacBook Pro again, just want to show you it's exactly the same data we've got on both machines, that the full sort of time machine backups fully work, same PDF documents there, same screenshots and everything like that. So there we go, everything has moved over successfully.
Well, there we have it, guys. That's everything transferred over using a backup and using basically an external hard drive to move all your data over. Depending on the size of your hard drive and the type of hard drive that you have, it's an SSD or a standard spinny drive, does depend on how quickly everything is going to move over to your new MacBook. But as you can see, everything is fully here and everything is fully working for me to use instead of using my older MacBook Pro. So basically, I do still have my old MacBook Pro and I'm going to be selling that now. I might just store it actually because I might be using it for another video in the future. But the main thing is everything should be working for you, and that's how you transfer everything over to your new MacBook in 2023. And on that note as well, guys, it's time to wrap up this video. So if you have enjoyed watching this video and found it useful, please do press the like button, and also at the same time as well, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews, comparisons, and also guides just like this one today, please also make sure you subscribe to this channel and also hit that notification bell. Until next time, guys, I will see you really soon. Take care. Bye bye.